Hi, I'm Elise and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing so good today. Today we are doing a book haul, and I was not anticipating doing a book haul in August because I wasn't anticipating buying any books, but you know, here we are. We have bought books. I think we bought 8 books, and then I was also gifted one, so that will be in here as well. And yeah, we're just gonna see how it goes. I am not doing good on my buying books and books in, books out challenge. We're not gonna talk about it, but we did buy some books I'm very excited about, so I hope you'll be excited about them too. The first one is a nonfiction. It's very slim, and it's a quick and easy guide to sex and disability. And this is by A. Andrews. And who is this published by? This is by Limerence Press. This one is a little comic, so you can see the illustrations inside. And this is just like a quick, easy, educational comic about how we can change the way we talk about sex and sexuality with all bodies. So very excited to read this. I think it will be very informative, and I'm excited to just have some additional representation about sex and sexuality in my repertoire. So that'll be good. The next one is Sisters by Daisy Johnson, and this has a stunning cover, by the way, and this is published by Riverhead Books. And this is about 2 sisters who I believe are named July and September. Is that right? Yeah, July and September. And something dark and devastating, I think, happens at the beginning of the novel, but you don't really know what it is. And the family ends up moving, so them and their mother end up moving. And the house that they move into clearly has a dark past of its own, and there's some trippy things happening in the house. And July and September are sort of looking back at this blood pact that they had when they were younger and the unfolding of that. And I think there's a lot of sibling love, but also a lot of sibling envy going on in here, and I really think it goes off the rails at some point. So this sounds very intriguing, some dark sibling stuff happening, and I'm ready for that. So excited about this. And this one, I was just in California and I went to a bookstore there called The Last Bookstore, I believe, and got this for $5. What? The next one I also got for $5 at the same bookstore, and that is Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. And this is published by Avid Reader Press. And this one has made the rounds. The hardback cover I think is much more stunning, but this one is still nice as well. And this is about a woman. How old is she? I don't know how old she is. I think she's an adolescent girl, and she is at kind of a juvenile facility, a correctional facility for adolescent girls in Colombia, and she's trying to find her way out because her father has a ticket for her to go to the US and be reunited with her mother and her sister, who are currently there. So that's one of the storylines. I think we also get a flashback storyline of her mother and father, who are named Mauro and Elena, and it's about their love story, and it's also about how Mauro, her father, was deported back to Colombia and the consequences that that's had on their family, each individually and as a unit together. So I think this is going to have a lot of interesting stuff to say about immigration that is very pertinent for what's happening in the US right now. So I'm excited to read this. I've heard great things about this, and I've been wanting to get my hands on it for a while, so I found it for $5. Of course I'm gonna get it. So that is Infinite Country. The next one was a gift from my lovely friend Kat, who actually has a bookstagram that I will link down below if you want to take a look. And that is Welcome to Midland. And this is a poetry collection by Logan Cure, and this is published by Deep Vellum, which is an indie publisher in Texas, and my friend Kat lives in Texas. So thank you, Kat. And this one, I believe, follows the story of, is this also an adolescent? It's a queer coming of age narrative that is set in a conservative small town, Midland, in Texas. And I think this says it's exploring themes of identity, community, family, and legend. So very intrigued for this. She said she enjoyed it and liked it, so I'm happy to have that. Looking forward to this interlinking poetry collection, which I don't often find either. So that is that. The next one is The Swimmers by Julia Otsuka, and I have read Julia Otsuka before. I have read When the Emperor Was Divine. I've actually read that book twice. When I was much younger, I think when I was in high school or something like that, on a whim I read it, and then I read it again later in college. And I really enjoyed it. And I have just heard that this is heartbreaking, so I'm sort of nervous for this, but I've also heard that it's fantastic, so I do want to get to it. This is about a group of swimmers who the pool that they normally swim in gets a crack in it, and that kind of fissures into all these storylines. And the main one, I think, being a woman who has like early onset dementia, and she is kind of flashing back to her past being in an internment camp. And then her daughter, I think, also enters the narrative as she's kind of struggling with dementia, and the daughter is trying to reconcile with like kind of having this new relationship because they were estranged previously, but like the relationship is fraught with this forgetting. So I'm really curious to see what this is about, and I've heard like spectacular things from everyone that's read this, and I have heard that everyone has read it has cried. So I'm a crier, so if other people are crying, like I'm going to sob. So that is The Swimmers, and this is published by Knopf. All right, next one is At the Edge of the Woods, and this is by Masatsugu Ono, and this is translated by Juliet Winters Carpenter, and this is published by Two Lines Press. And this one sounds very surreal. So this follows a family, a mom, a dad, and a boy who moved to this house at the edge of the woods, and the woods are menacing. They're making strange noises at night, and there's some lore around the woods saying that like a bunch of fighters previously died there back in the day, and the mother gets pregnant again and decides that she's going to go back to their family home in order to give birth, and the father and the son are left behind there, and increasingly strange things happen in the house and around them. So I believe there's like a tree stump that won't die no matter how much poison they put on it. There's a mailman who comes and delivers like horrific, violent news to them. There's lots of things going on here that I don't fully understand, and I think that's partially the point, but this sounds very surreal, like darkly fantastical, and I'm very intrigued to read it. So that is At the Edge of the Woods. The next ones I have talked about in videos before, so I'll go over them really briefly. But in case you haven't seen me talk about them before, the first one is Fieldwork in Ukrainian Sex, and this is by Oksana Sabuchko, translated by Helena Hrin from Ukrainian. Oh, and I should say, this is translated from the Japanese. So this one, translated from the Ukrainian, this one I don't know that much about, but what I do think this is about, and this is so vague, is I think this is about a woman reflecting upon a previous relationship that may or may not have been abusive, and also like they were having bad sex. Bad sex in what way, I don't know. If that's like abusive or just not enjoyable, or you know, whatever that might mean, but I think that's what's going on in this book, and I'm very intrigued. It's also told in a semi-stream of consciousness way, and just has like dense blocks of prose, so we shall see for this one, but I am excited. This is also the group read for the WIT Readathon, the Women in Translation Readathon, and there will be a live show in September, so I will link information about that below as well. The next one I have already read, and that is Boulder by Eva Baltazar, and this is translated from the Spanish by Julia Sanchez, and this is published by And Other Stories. And this one follows a woman named Boulder who gets into a relationship with another woman named Samsa, and Samsa very much wants to have children, and that has always been her dream, and now that her and Boulder are in a serious relationship, she wants to have a baby, whereas Boulder feels very conflicted, almost indifferent and apathetic about having children, but is maybe leaning on the side of not wanting to have kids. So she's really wrestling with this decision and then wrestling with the outcome of the decision that they make. It's a great take on what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a woman with and without children, and the way that society views you, and maybe even the ways that you view yourself. And also a great take on motherhood and the different ways that people can be a good mother, and all the vast range of opinions and values and beliefs that go into motherhood. So I thought this was great. The writing is stunning, so highly encourage anyone to pick this up if they're interested in it. And the very last book in this haul is The Performance, and this is by Claudia Petrucci, and this just came out in August, and this is translated from the Italian by Anne Milano Appel. And this one follows kind of a used-to-be actress who meets this man that she falls in love with. I think his name is Filippo, yes, and they like go head over heels for each other. She leaves her career for him, and then she has this chance encounter with her old stage manager, whose name is Mauro. Oh, 2 Mauros in this. What are the odds? I mean, there we go. So Mauro decides that he wants to get her back into acting, and this is all from the blurb, and it happens at the beginning of the book, but she goes back into acting and it goes like horribly, like something horrible happens, and she ends up in the hospital, and both of the men are trying to simultaneously compete for her like love, affection, attention, but also like collaborate in getting her healthy again. For what means, we don't know, but the way that they do this is they write the perfect script for her life. So she is supposed to be acting this out, and that is gonna make her feel better, they think, at least. So this one sounds very intriguing, sounds very plotty. I am really looking forward to reading this, and that is the last book in this haul. If you are interested in reading any of these, let me know. If you have already read any of these, let me know what you thought of them. I'm very excited to get to all of them, and I can't wait to see what books I haul next. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.